And we're back. Welcome to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Chris Kelso, having a good time this morning. And up next, we have Steve Rogers. Steve is with Hannibal Industries. Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thank you.
You know, for all those first-time listeners out there or the people who have not heard of you before, let us know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were founded in 1985. A group of Los Angeles steel guys got together and bought the assets of a tubing mill in Los Angeles. It was Kaiser Steel's tube mill. They got out of the tube business. Soon brought a big Japanese trading company in as a partner. And as we grew, the original principals retired.
Right.
Mitsui took over the company.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So we were owned by a very large Japanese trading company. For a long time.
Okay.
And that was very interesting learning the Japanese way of doing business.
It's definitely different than what we're used to.
Definitely different. So as we grew, we wanted to diversify. And in 1995, we bought a little fabrication shop that made industrial steel storage racks. And we blew that facility out in a year. So we went back to Mitsui and we said, okay, so we're in the rack business too now.
Right.
Build us a factory. And they did. So we had 10.5 acres adjacent to our property in L.A. So we're on 22 acres in L.A.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a big facility. And they built that plant. We moved in 2000. And within 5 to 6 years, we became the largest industrial steel storage rack manufacturer west of the Rockies.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, as we progressed in 2007, my boss got called back to New York, so he thought he was getting fired. And he said, I'm sweating.
That's always one of those things.
Yeah, because they don't do that very often. And they told him that they were going to put the company up for sale, that they were divesting all of their West Coast steel presence. So he pops off, well, we'll buy it. And not knowing any way he was going to do it.
Right.
So, and they said, well, you can participate. You know, it's going up for bid.
Right.
So he put together some banking relationships that he had, and we pitched it as an employee-owned, an ESOP.
Right, absolutely.
Right, and we won. We won the company.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So, well, it was awesome, except that
and scary at the same time.
It was April of 2008. Now keep that in mind.
Okay, yes.
So we had 5 months.
Okay.
Of the biggest profits that the company's ever seen.
Right.
And our bank was like jumping for joy. They they were brilliant.
Right.
And we're trying to tamp them down. You know, we're saying this isn't normal, you know.
Right.
And then
2008
October,
hit, and the later part of it, yes.
And the whole thing was cut in half.
Wow.
Our volume was cut in half. Our inventory cost was cut in half. The value of our inventory was cut in half.
Right.
2009 was terrifying.
Right.
So I would drive into work, and I'd pull in, and the lights are on, and I'd be like, okay, I got one more day, right? I mean, it was that scary.
That's the old one day at a time adage, by the way.
Exactly. But we managed through 2009, and we've been profitable ever since. And I'm proud to say that, you know, the group of employees that owns our company, I mean, you know, your primary goal is to drive profit to your shareholders.
That is correct.
Right? And we have done an amazing job of that. So our stock value, we have an independent company come in every year and evaluate our company and put a value on our stock.
Right.
And we've grown our stock value by 500%.
Wow, that's really neat.
And so, you know, our customer base had grown, and we had a lot of national customers, and we were getting encouraged to have a presence outside of the West.
Right.
Because our product's very regional. It doesn't ship well. So
well, yeah, I would imagine because pretty heavy, and so the cost of shipping longer term also.
And it doesn't cube well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So instead of getting 48,000 pounds on a truck, you get 35,000 pounds on a truck, and it's just hard to compete. And, you know, shipping west to east is more expensive.
Correct.
So we were committed that we were going to have a presence somewhere east of the Rockies.
Okay.
And, you know, being third generation Southern California, you know, anything past Las Vegas is east.
Right.
So, you know.
If I was there, I'd stop in Vegas every time, by the way. That's what I would do.
So, we chose Houston, and we chose Houston for, what we think is really good reasons. What we learned being in Los Angeles, California, is it was a great benefit to be in the heart of the biggest rack market in the country.
Wow.
Right? California is the single biggest consumer pallet rack in the United States.
Wow. Why is that, by the way?
Population.
It's 100% based on population.
100% based on population.
So that would actually bode well then for your Texas operations because
Number two. Exactly.
Okay.
So, we said, and being in Houston, we feel we can be competitive all through the Southeast.
Right.
So we're in the second biggest market and the first biggest market, Los
Okay.
Angeles and Texas. And we think that we can carve out a nice niche here.
Right.
There's a deep water port, which we're used to utilizing.
Correct.
Being in L.A., both for import and export, import of raw steel, export of racking.
Right.
The culture here is great, business friendly. It just seemed like a great fit for us. And so, I moved out 3 months ago, living up in Cyprus.
Gotcha. Okay.
And-
Exactly. The area who is seemed to be getting nonstop rain over the past month, by the way.
I don't see rain in my life,
Right.
But
But you got more than you could
18
possibly
inches
imagine.
in 9 hours is a little bit extreme. So, our street flooded.
Yes.
And we were trapped in the house for a couple days. And my wife is like, where have you brought me? But we like it. The people are great here.
Yes, sir.
We think it's a great market for us. We're being, like I said, selective, and it's going to be a slow build. Our product can be a little bit complex in the
Okay.
manufacturing process, and our cost, the steel content of our cost is so high that if you make a mistake, it's very expensive. So
Oh,
we're
yes.
going to start slow, but we think that we can carve out a good niche here, and we're happy to be here.
The great thing was, you're obviously very big, as you mentioned, in Los Angeles, and sort of that market over there. You got quite a few employees right now. You have about 350 employees, I think you said.
Correct.
And in Houston right now, you've got 30 of those employees, which represents a little less than 10%. But your goal is to grow it to over 100.
Right, exactly.
And
The capacity of that plant, as the footprint sits right now, is probably 20 to 25% of what we can do out of LA. So the ultimate goal is to build another bay. We got 10.5 acres here,
okay.
so we can expand. There's plenty of room to expand. So build it slow,
Right.
fill up what we have, get our customers satisfied,
Right.
and then continue to grow. Because for us to grow our stock value for all of our shareholders, whose investment in our company is sweat,
Right.
we have to continue to grow, and this is a great opportunity for us here.
No, I would thoroughly agree. But, we tell everything, and you mentioned this, is it absolutely has the capacity in Houston. It is one of the great business areas to do business in. We're one of the great business drivers. We have a lot of good stuff going on. And more importantly and I think people don't realize this, is I've always had this concern. Manufacturing in the United States has been dwindling for years now. It's great to see manufacturing come back, and Houston has a lot to offer in that area, as you mentioned, the Port of Houston, the railroad system, our technology we've done in regards to implementation of infrastructure,
Yep.
the business-friendly climate in regards to taxes and build-outs, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you have sort of that perfect area here in Houston to continue to build and distribute out from here,
And it's an attractive city, which, when you're trying to recruit talent,
right?
if we were in some swamp in Alabama, that would be really difficult.
Yep.
But, I think that's a benefit for us as we grow. I'm not going to be around too much longer in the business.
Right.
My boss, same thing. So we're recruiting young people and trying to get, it's very important to us. We built this thing. It's the employees are gonna really, when they retire,
Right.
are gonna have a benefit that they never could have had
Right.
otherwise. So it's very important to us that we backfill and that we have the right team in place for 8 to 10 years from now.
And very important, because we talk about this all the time, is one of the things we have in this market in general, not just yours, but everyone, we talk about this all the time, is there is about to be an exodus of very highly qualified, skilled, knowledgeable individuals, the baby boomer generation who is all exiting, And the one thing that most people say, we do have a very large popular generation, that's coming in. But the one thing we're missing is that knowledge gap, which has been created because of that. So it's interesting you're saying you want to bring in the young people, individuals who can fill those knowledge gaps, who can get to learn things now, and do that 10-year plan.
Exactly.
So when 10 years you're out of here, you have somebody who can then take over and make sure the company continues to move forward.
Right, which, that's the best part of your career, right?
Right.
If you can look back and say, wow, I was part of building a great thing, and now we've got these young people with new ideas that are taking it to the next level.
Oh, absolutely. I would absolutely agree right there. Well, we're going to be coming up against time in this segment. How can we reach you if you don't mind?
I'm sorry?
We're coming up against time in this segment. How can we reach you or get more information in regards to your company?
Oh, you can go onto our website.
Okay.
And that's HannibalIndustries.com. And, you personally, if you're up near Bingle Road, come stop in, and I'll give you a tour.
I definitely want to go do
what we do.
I love doing that, by the way. That to me is all fun stuff. So
Great.
I'll definitely get up there. I'll give you a call.
Okay.
We'll go see that. But for all those listening, this is Steve Rogers. He is with Hannibal Industries. Welcome to Houston, by the way.
Thank you, Chris.
And I'll get up there and do a great tour for you, by the way.
Right.
You are tuned into The Price of Business. As usual, we have to pay for this show somehow, so we have to take a break. But stay tuned. We'll be right back.